because you learn as you go. If you want to change your mental state, change your physical state. What's up, champions? Welcome to this special training today on this month's topic. I'm so excited to be able to be the host today. My name is William Blake, and we also have several speakers today who are going to talk about the awesome principle of specialized knowledge from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Here at Champion Circle, we dive deep into accountability and masterminding. We think that through the mastermind methodologies that Napoleon Hill lays out, that we are able to all grow together and to achieve what we haven't achieved before, as well as doing it through accountability. Because if you want to do something, do it yourself. But if you want accelerated results, do it with a group of people. I know I butchered that quote, but the principle still rings true. That as you go forward with accountability, as you go forward with masterminding, as you go forward with a group of champions, you can get to where you need to go. And all it takes is a few steps. So today, from the Think and Grow Rich principles, each month we take a principle and we talk about it and we deep dive into it. Napoleon Hill lays out 13 principles. Now, there's not 13 principles in 12 months, right? The last two principles are saved for the wonderful time in December. But for this month of April, we are talking about the fourth principle of specialized knowledge. So let's go ahead and introduce the speakers. I have the privilege to be able to speak to you first today. So like I said, my name is William Blake. I am the dyslexic achievement coach, best-selling author, loving husband and father of a wonderful wife and 3 kids, and someone who brings light into the world. And I'm super excited to talk to you today about my perspective and experience on specialized knowledge. So let's jump right into it. Have you ever been in a situation to where you had an electric problem in your house? Whether you're renting, whether you're buying, mortgage, whatever it is, did you ever have an electric problem? And when you did, you called up the plumber. I highly doubt that. You probably called up an electrician. And there's an important reason for it. Because the plumber knows what he knows, and he's great with plumbing. And the electrician knows what he knows, and he's great with things with electricity. And I want to talk to you guys today about one of the principles in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, specialized knowledge. Because it's not simply we go throughout life being the average, but we got to be obsessed to the point that we are able to dive deep into the knowledge that we have in a specific thing. Those experts, those masters that we consider as masters, they have mastered themselves in a few areas. Not all areas, because that would take probably thousands and thousands of years, but in a very few areas. And that's where they get the respect. That's where they get the trust. That's where they get the credibility. So I want to share with you a couple things that will help you to have that specialized knowledge and create an actionable plan from it. First off, we got to define what is specialized knowledge? It's the expertise in a specific field that goes beyond general knowledge. General knowledge can be common sense, but it also can just be the general things that you learn in a business. When I worked at Walmart working in produce, I knew everything about the fruits. I knew everything about the vegetables. I knew everything about how to put pallets out and such. And that could transfer to each department. That can transfer to any retail store. But when I got into it even deeper, the specific knowledge, I found out that there's hundreds of types of apples. I found out specifically where things go and where the mods are supposed to go, to where I didn't need the papers to be able to do it. I was able to tell the customers exactly where it went. And even though generally Walmart's, a general store where everyone goes, specifically in that Walmart, I can point customers to where they need to go. And that came from that specialized knowledge, very specific expertise in one field, which for that Walmart, when I was working there at the time, was the produce and the meat department. That was in that specific field. Now, why is this important? I'm talking about produce, but if you're in finance or business, if you're building a family, if you're just working your job, if you're in construction or a manager job, what the heck does produce have to do with it? And why is it important to get specialized knowledge? I'll tell you this. If you want to stand out today in this competitive world that we live in, specialized knowledge is going to give you a specific advantage. And not just specific advantage, a significant advantage. Significant, not a small one, a massive one. Let me share a few things about why and how you do it. So, understanding the importance of specialized knowledge, it gives you that competitive advantage. It sets you apart from the crowd and the positions so that you can be set as an expert. Like I said, you wouldn't call a plumber to do an electrician's job. You also wouldn't go out to a plumber for IT skills, right? Those medical specialists, I wouldn't want a surgeon to really do my financial stuff. I also wouldn't want a financial advisor to do my medical anything health wise. Like a diabetic professional isn't probably going to know much about the world of food and culture and being a chef. But every single person in that industry, you can name the experts, you can name the masters. The food industry, Gordon Ramsay pops up to my head. For gurus and inspirational speakers, Tony Robbins pops in my head. For financial analysts, Warren Buffett pops in my head. Now, are these guys great in every single field they're in? No. But because they're great in a single field, they are known as the masters in that field. They're known as the experts because they specialize their knowledge to a single thing. And they have more value when it comes to those topics than anyone else. A second thing when it comes to the importance of specialized knowledge is that that's where you get a lot of passion and power from. If you are super interested in being an entrepreneur, then anything business, anything about building a brand, anything about marketing, that's going to excite you. But other things like doing laundry, mowing the lawn, that might not excite you as much as the entrepreneurship side is. And so whatever your interest is, whatever your passion is, with a when you bring it down and keep it kind of that laser focus, you can go forward with it. If you think about it this way, a light is broad and can light up the room. But a laser is light brought to such a specific point that it can go through almost anything. So you got to ask yourself, are you wanting to be the laser or are you wanting to be the light? Either is good. It just depends on what you want. Here's some strategies. It's important. I talked about how important it is. Here's some strategies I want to share with you. If you are looking to get more specialized in your industry, in your position, to be able to get promoted, to be able to earn more money, to be able to be known as the expert and the master, here's some tips and tricks for you. Number one, reading. As someone who has read over 300 self-help books over the last 4 or 5 years, I have found that reading, especially paperback or hardcover, has significantly increased my knowledge on the things that I want to do. And as someone who suffers from dyslexia, who struggles with writing, speaking, and reading, I read over 60 plus books a year. I go out and give speeches just like this, inspirational speeches to help people, guide them to where they want to go. And as well as I'm a best-selling author. Those things didn't come from the general knowledge, because the general knowledge of things says, Willie, you're dyslexic. That's a challenge and obstacle that you're going to have to face your entire life. And there is no advantage to it. And it wasn't until I started reading that I realized that it was not a challenge, but a superpower. And so for you, when it comes to reading, you can dive into books, you can dive into articles, you can go to online resources that are related to your field. and that will help you increase to the for that specific knowledge that you want. Another thing you can do, education. Like, even though there's this trend that college isn't working, that the government's in control and everything, formal education, different courses, different workshops, online programs, they're out there. They're out there. They don't have to be through a specific college, even though, some of my favorite teachers and some of my favorite courses were through a college program that actually helped connect me to people in the entrepreneurship world. That's how I got started. Like, there are those there, but there's also so many different workshops and trainings and programs and modules that you can get out there from people specific in your area: finance, construction, managerial, entrepreneurship, business owner, marketing, advertising, whatever it may be. There's course content creation. There's courses out there that are there for you. And education is important. Now, I'm not dissing on school, but I want you to realize something that was important to me. Education is important, and it's not necessarily needed to be done through school. So if school doesn't work for you, educate yourself another way. If it does, that's great. But focus on the education part, not the specific thing that you need to do to get that education. Because when you focus on the education, opportunities are going to come up that will help guide you to where you need to go. Another thing when it comes to specialized knowledge that you can do is experimental learning. This is also what I love to call, and what many people call, hands-on experience. This is through internships, different projects, or volunteering. Volunteering is such a great thing to do. If you are looking to become more of a master in your field, get the hands-on experience. Some things you can only learn in the field. Other things you might be able to learn in the book, but you learn faster in the field. I remember this study that I read the other day. And they separated into 4 groups. These were basketball players shooting free throw shots. And they wanted to see what was going on and what was the best way to do to improve their free throw shot. So the first group was the controlled group, and they didn't do anything. The second group were just standing at the free throw line, and they were shooting free throw shots. Hours on end shooting free throw shots. The third group didn't shoot any free throw shots, but they would lay on the ground and visualize themselves. This is visualizing themselves, how their arms feel as they pick up the ball, how they feel as they let it go. They feel the wind in their hand as they push it. They can visualize the ball going straight and swishing into the net. Wow, I haven't said swishing in a long time. Swishing right into the net and making the shot. And they would do that for hours during their practice. Then the fourth group, they would shoot free throws half the time, and the other half the time visualize themselves shooting free throws. And when the study came out, I was shocked. I was shocked to realize that the group that was the control group, that they didn't do anything, didn't improve their free throws at all. Right? Just makes sense. The group that shot their free throws improved about 28% of the time. That didn't sound right. From where they were at to they improved 28%. There we go. That's how I wanted to say it. For the third group, who just visualized, from where they're at, they improved 26%. Basically the same amount as the people doing the experience, shooting free throw shots. The ones who visualized were making that exact same improvement. And then when you added the free throws and the visualization, they improved, I believe it was about 36 or 38%. And that just die-harded me into realizing the importance of visualization, but also the importance of hands-on experience, because you learn as you go. If you want to change your mental state, change your physical state. You learn as you go. Another thing you can do is networking. Start talking with these professionals who are the experts in their field. Do this through events, conferences, online communities, on social media platforms, wherever it is. Start going out and networking to these people. And then the last thing you can try to do, among these are just ideas I've tried out. You can try out several, but the last one I could think is just be a lifetime student. Have continuous learning value and attribute inside yourself, because it's so important to stay updated and adaptable with things. When Uber came out, the taxi drivers who stayed taxi drivers, the industry fell down, and the Uber drivers came up. Hotels were replaced by Airbnbs, right? It's this adaptable, staying updated on the culture, on what people are wanting and needing. And that's how these big companies that we thought there's no way they'd come up and do what they need to do, were able to then create the business and be a popular brand that they are. So if you want to be the expert in popular brand, have that continuous learning side. All this being said, Willie, when it comes down to it, what do we do next? Let's create a personalized action plan. You can do this in a few ways. First, you can do a self-assessment. Just reflect on your interests, your strengths, and the areas for growth. I always say focus on your strengths and not your lesser strengths. You need to work on your lesser strengths because sometimes that can really hold you back, which most people call weaknesses. But you also need to dial down on your strengths, because the dialing down on your strengths is what's going to help get you to where you want to go with being that specialized laser beam of power in your industry. Second thing you can do is you can set goals for yourself. I remember in grade school, there was the SMART goals, that SMART acronym that you can use. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but they had some really good gold nuggets in there. The first thing is specific. If you want generalized knowledge, set generalized goals. If you want specific knowledge, set specific goals. I'm working on my health right now. I'm trying to lose 100 pounds. And me just saying I want to get healthy is not going to get me to the 100 pounds loss. What is? I'm going to walk 10K steps. I'm going to drink a gallon of water. I'm going to do my workout for the day for 30 minutes, right? Very specific things. Where at the end of the day, as you're laying in bed and reviewing it, you can ask yourself, did I do this or not? And it's a yes or a no. That's how specific your goal should be. Measurable is also in there. Specific and measurable, they're interchangeable. You want to make sure it's measurable so that at the end of the day, you can ask, yes, I did this, or no, I didn't do it. So that's super specific so that you can really hook onto that goal and get to where you want to go. The other thing is setting a time limit. This can be a 30-day goal. This can be a 90-day goal. I know that's popular. That's what we do at Champion Circle. That's what I know several other accountability people do, because 90 days, it's just a nice sprint to do. But having a time limit, be able to pressure yourself into getting something done. Some things that we think will take a year might only take 90 days. Things that we might think only take 90 days might just take a month. And things that take a month might just take a week. If I've learned anything when it comes to high achievers and high successful individuals, what they do is they take the time of when they had the thought of what they need to do and the action to take action to get it done. They shorten it. They decrease the gap in between. And so something we're just like, this week, I'm going to do my taxes. The high achiever might come and say, today, I'm going to do my taxes. And then tomorrow, I'm going to connect with 10 people. Then the next day, right? So that at the end of the week, really at the end of the month, the average person will be like, yeah, I got 4 things done. I feel so achieved. When that high achiever is just like, I got 30 things done. Right? Time's finite. But that the high achiever takes the thought and the action and shortens that gap as much as they can. So adding that time bound thing, even if you don't think you can achieve it, just set it and you'll be surprised on what you can achieve. When it comes to setting an action plan, another thing you might want to do is research. Explore all the available resources out there, and then identify the most effective learning methods for you. I know for me, when it comes to focus time, that I need that having just that meditation music in the background is my favorite thing to do. It kicks my dyslexic brain into some level of something to be able to achieve what I just get that focus and achieve what I want. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you need to take a walk first, or maybe you need to be in a certain chair, or a certain room where there's no distractions, right? How do you learn? Maybe it's you got to look at presentations. Maybe you're great with a textbook. Maybe you learn through video, whatever it is. Test them all and figure out what works for you so that we can accelerate you becoming that expert that you want to be. Two more things I'd say, like I said earlier, time management. Allocate but this time for the daily, right? Allocate dedicated time each day to be able to learn the skill and and really talent's really natural. The skill, hard or soft, that you need to get to where you want to go. There's that famous, I don't know who it's by. That famous thing that says you become a master once you put 10,000 hours in. Well, the 10,000 hours starts by putting 1 hour in. So you just got to start putting in the hours, because 5 years is going to come whether you do it or not. So you might as well in 5 years have that skill rather than like, oh, I'm going to schedule the perfect time to do it and not have anything done. Then the last thing, accountability. Establish accountability with people that you know and trust. Keep progress records of how you're doing. And, study groups is a good way too, but really create a group of friends and trusted individuals that will keep you accountable. For some reason, maybe it's just me, I will do something more for someone else than I will for myself, which is sad, but it's the hard reality of it, because I love to help other people out. I love to see the light in their eyes. And so when I think that what I'm doing is going to help someone else, that helps me be accountable for what I need to do. So for you, go out and find someone to help you be accountable. As we wrap this up, specialized knowledge is just such a game changer. It's how you become successful in your field. It's how you become the top 10, the top 5, the top dog, the top 1 in your industry. And so I want to leave you this challenge. The challenge is, I encourage you as the audience who's listening to take immediate action towards acquiring specialized knowledge. Take immediate action. We went through several examples today, from research, from the different ways to learn, to setting smart goals, with not really smart goals, right? But setting specific, measurable, and time-bound goals. We talked about going out and connecting with people, or just simply learning the skill, getting that hands-on experience. Whatever it is, the challenge is for you right now to think of what you need to do immediately today that will help push you and start getting you toward that desired result that you have. It just takes a little bit of dedication and a little bit of focus. You can habit stack, you can put it in your calendar, whatever it is, but set time aside to achieve that goal that you want. And you do that through the dedication, you do that through focus, and you do it through that desire to go forward. And go forward by taking those first steps. Awesome. I love being able to share that with you, share my special knowledge, but we have other wonderful speakers here as well who's going to share it. We're going to jump into the next speaker, who is the king of dad jokes, who is a wonderful entrepreneur himself, who is diehard one of the most persistent and risk-taking people, good risk-taking people that I've met in my life. And he's one of the most wise people out there. So I'm so excited to introduce you to Mr. Ian Stermer.
When I was a kid, probably about 8 years old, my best friend David and I were out playing by my house, and out in the woods, kind of down by a creek, we found this big pile of old rusted metal. Don't know what it was from. Somebody had dumped it there. It was probably an old washing machine or something like that. But my friend David and I, in our excitement and youthful exuberance, decided that we should take that and build a rocket. And then we would fly into outer space with this rocket based on all this metal. Now, of course, that's kind of a, I'll say, foolish idea at this point. There was no way it would ever work. I mean, it was so far beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, first of all, we didn't have the tools that we would need to weld things together. We didn't have fuel to use for it. We didn't have anything to seal it to be safe in outer space. But you're probably thinking, way beyond or before any of these things even came to mind, we had no idea how to do that. We had no knowledge about how to actually build really anything out of this metal other than stacking it on top of each other and making some sort of a pile. Is the most we could hope to do with that. We lacked the knowledge to do anything with this lump and stack of metal. Specialized knowledge is the fourth step in the road to riches from Napoleon Hill's seminal work, Think and Grow Rich. Specialized knowledge is, to me, the most basic and easiest of all of his principles to understand. If you're going to do something, you need to know how to do it. No matter what you want to achieve, you have to learn how to do it. If you want to build a business, if you want to build a widget, whatever it is, everything in life needs to be learned. We need to gain the knowledge in order to do it. My friend and I had great desire. We even had a lot of faith that we could do that. We talked about how we could do it. We mentioned auto-suggestion in our last podcast here. We talked and suggested to ourselves how much we could do it. But the fact is, we didn't have the knowledge to do it. We could not create something without a knowledge. We would have had to research and study and learn the principles, the fundamental aerodynamic, metallurgy, structural integrity, all of these things in order to build anything out of that metal. Now, in our lives today, we face the same kind of a thing. I know I'm an entrepreneurial-minded person, and I'm always thinking about different businesses, how it could be successful, how much fun it could be to create this business. And I love to go through the dream and the faith stage and the auto-suggestion stage of it. But I'll admit that I fall short when it comes to the specialized knowledge phase of this. I don't always take time to think about what really needs to take place in order for that to be successful. So one example, a recent business I thought of that I've been playing around in my mind. I love music. I enjoy listening to music. I have a record player, turntable. I listen to vinyl records. I have a decent collection. I thought, wow, it would be fun to start a collection or start a business where I buy and sell vinyl records online. It's a growing business. There's some great business models out there. I understand records, I know how to care for them, and I know some of the labels to look for, but I don't really have the specialized knowledge to know what records are going to be a good buy for me to buy, to resell, to make money later on. That takes a different level of knowledge, not just a hobby, not just enjoying it, but it takes a specialized knowledge of that industry to be successful. Just because I want something, just because I like something, just because I dream about something, doesn't mean that that is the something that will make me successful without any other effort. Specialized knowledge is the core to anyone going into a business. Anyone wanting to think and grow rich is a specialized knowledge of how you're going to accomplish that. What is it about that idea that will bring you money? Now, it's easy when you get into this phase to get into the disappointment, discouragement side of things. And that's not the point of specialized knowledge. Specialized knowledge is something you can achieve, you can find, you can learn, you can accomplish this specialized knowledge when you put in the work to do it, when you put in the effort to find the resources. We live in a world today where we have never had so much access instantly to knowledge. You can find any information, any bit of information on the internet if you look hard enough for it, and maybe if you have the specialized knowledge of how to find it. Information is there. You can find the information. You can find out how to do things. You can find the success stories. You can see what works and what doesn't work, or how you need to tweak your ideas through that specialized knowledge. Now, that knowledge may be how to do something. It may be a physical skill if you're creating something. It may be marketing. It may be really sales. All of these have a different level of specialized knowledge that we need to achieve if we're going to be successful. It's not enough to think and believe. Those are your fuel that move you forward. The specialized knowledge is more of your guidance system that's going to show you where you're going to go and to reach the goal that you want to. It has to have the knowledge. So seek out the specialized knowledge in your chosen field, your chosen endeavor. You can think and grow rich if you follow the steps Napoleon Hill lines out. And look at that, especially this month as we talk about specialized knowledge. What knowledge can you seek out to make your endeavor, your goal, your dream on target to be what it should be, what it can be, what it will be when you put in that effort of specialized knowledge? Thank you.
Awesome, Ian. Thank you so much for your perspective on this. Lastly, we're going to hear from the founder of Champion Circle, the best-selling author that he is, as well as just an incredible friend of mine, Jon Kovach Jr. And I'm so excited for him to share with you his wisdom and his knowledge on the specified knowledge principle taught in Think and Grow Rich. Go ahead, Jon.
Never stop learning. This is the essential step in Napoleon Hill's Steps to Riches when he teaches the importance of gaining specialized knowledge in the area or profession you most want to make an impact in this world. And I believe this wholeheartedly. In fact, all of my accelerated successful stories come from me just learning on the go, trying, discovering, being okay with failure, and speeding on through what's supposed to be the outcome that I should deserve and receive. I've found myself learning so much as I continue to improve my education. Now, I want to read a quote to you from Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich. He says, "Never stop acquiring specialized knowledge related to their major purposes, business, or profession. Those who are not successful usually make the mistake of believing that the knowledge acquiring period ends when one finishes school. Never stop learning." And I wholeheartedly agree. In fact, school was just a foundation to teach you how and where to gain information to learn. It gave you impressive knowledge on how to thoroughly think for yourself, but it didn't give you all the knowledge. Do you think once you become a doctor that you're done, you don't have to learn anything else about medicine? No, there's a reason why doctors have to continue to renew their licenses after certain periods of time. And so the more that you continue to learn and grow, the more that you will master your own skill sets. So let me ask you this question. What are you good at? What is your driving force? What do you absolutely love? Let me follow up that question with, why are you staying where you are with that? Why don't you try to improve it? Give you an example. In 2023, I picked up the sport of beach volleyball or sand volleyball. And it is one of those sports that I've always admired. It's one that I've always wanted to get into. And I finally did it. I finally got into this community of volleyball players. And I really found out that my athleticism could only take me so far. In fact, my competitive nature, my understanding of the sport, and so many other little things all added up to a particular level of playing, which was at the basic, what they call BB level of playing the sport, which is a recreational sort of fun place to be. But if you really wanted to get better at the sport, you got to hone in on your strengths, your skills, your mindset, your insights, and your skill sets. And I realized that I was good at a few things and very in need of working on skill sets in other areas. And this became a constant yearning to learn and grow. And I got to the point where I needed coaching. I needed to not listen and learn from people around me who were all in that BB league as well, and instead getting a coach who is taking time telling me what I'm doing wrong and showing me what I can do right and delving into the little movements and the understanding of everything. And now I'm playing in a little bit more of a competitive league, which is a lot more fun for me since I'm a competitive person. But that's just one of the many examples. I'm so blown away with the power of specialized knowledge because it truly does give you, we'll call it advantages over other people, because the majority of people who go to school get a job because they went to school and work in that job. It takes them, a 10-year of maybe 10 to 15 years before they get that big promotion, and then another 15 years before they get the next step up. But while we all are learning on the job and learning on the go, many of us get so tied up in the now, and we don't continue to grow and learn. And I've got to throw this question out there, because if we're not growing and if we're not learning, then what are we doing? If we're not progressing, are we okay with stagnation? If we're not progressing, I think we're digressing, because the world's evolving so fast around us. I was just reading a great book called The New Psychology of Winning by Dr. Dennis Waitley. And in this book, Dr. Dennis Waitley talks about how in this 21st century, that the way that things were are no longer. The way we learn, the way we grow, the way we apply things, the way we become better at what we're good at, and the way that we get an advantage in this world definitely has changed over the years. And it's due to satellite communications, allowing us to have access to more information, things that we can look up on the fly, or things that we can do or you tap into before we didn't have. And so this idea that we have to learn a little bit differently nowadays, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence and um, the loss of so many jobs, we need to be more specialized. And let me tell you this, you will always be revered for the things you continue to improve upon as somebody who's in a constant striving for a betterment of that skill set. I got to a place in my life and my career where athletics was no longer the answer, and I had to move in a different direction. And no, I never became a professional athlete, nor was I even an amateur athlete. I just got to the college level and decided that I had so much more that I could do with my brain, my ideas, my energy, my enthusiasm. And I got to a point where I spent a lot of time giving and learning and educating and doing everything I could to find out more about what it would take to be a professional speaker, a professional coach, a mentor, somebody who can really make a difference in other people's lives. And this took practice. This took time. This took delving into things. This took buying coaching courses and learning exactly what I needed to do to improve myself. If you're not constantly learning, then you're probably digressing. And a lot of us think that we work so hard in our younger years so that we can relax and hang out in our older years. But I've got to tell you, at the age of 91, Dr. Dennis Whaley is learning new things each day, each week, each month, each year. And one of the things he told me, one of the things he told us is that if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you're not progressing, you're digressing. And so you will lose what you've gained. So you need to continually exercise, just like a muscle, your brain, your intellect, your mindset, your insights, your understanding, your depth of knowledge in every subject. I couldn't iterate this more. And the process of overcoming your greatest challenges in this mastermind, in this community, where you look for opportunities to grow your personal achievements, your improved business acumen, your ability to build more relationships so that you can in turn have more income and more um, abundance and be more charitable in your life. All of this comes down to really a simple thing is how often are you learning? Are you specializing in your knowledge? And are you specializing that knowledge? Let me repeat that in case you missed it. Are you specializing in your knowledge? And are you specializing that knowledge? What do you specialize in? Take a big deep breath in. Ready? And think as you breathe out what exactly you're good at. What exactly do you provide? What value do you offer in this world? What skill sets have made you better than the rest, better than most, better than you used to be, just better? All of the answers are lying within you and they're waiting to be unveiled, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be revealed and give you so much improvement in your life. Believe me, life is worth living when you're learning. Life is not worth living when you're digressing. And everyone has a bad day. But when your bad days roll into more bad days, to bad years, to bad decades, to bad lifetimes, it's it's a terrible way to live a life of digression than progression. Now, what's the remedy? Pick up a book, learn a new skill, do something outside the norm, quit being a member of the herd mentality. And believe me, if you continuously strive for anything greater than mediocrity, you will find yourself serving and learning in a way that'll give you so much important guidance and direction in your life. At Champion Circle, we have an acronym that we like to follow, and this is something that you should do every day. You should learn every day. And learn is an acronym that stands for L, which means listen. Listen to important audios and different things that are going to uplift you. They're going to help you stretch, help you grow. Stay away from the television and focus your time on listening and learning from books and materials that are going to give you a lot more information and a lot more direction on becoming a much more knowledgeable and specialized knowledge person. L stands for listen. E stands for engage. Engage means to reach out to people, right? On a daily basis. You need to reach out. We always have a list of 10 people I want to connect with each day. And that's through text message, maybe their phone call. Maybe you leave them through satellite communications. You leave them video messages or voicemails or voice notes or whatever it might be. Maybe you send them an electronic mail, um, or maybe you message them on one of your favorite social media platforms. Either way, reach out to 10 people a day, engage, and share with them what you're working on. A stands for action and accountability. And an action is what you've got to do. You can't be active and be idle at the same time. You must be in progress. You must be in motion. So active through accountability is all about working with others and returning to the point of origin where you say, How do I reflect on the effectiveness of what I'm doing? And you use that as a platform for you to continually to learn and grow. R in the letter learn stands for read. I highly, 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 it's my microphone, highly recommend you read every single day, whether it's 5 words or 5 pages. Doesn't matter. Read, read, read. You might already give yourself the out by saying, oh, I read text messages, or I read signs, or I read billboards on my way to work, or whatever. No, that's what you already do. Read more than you usually do, and you will find yourself learning and developing specialized knowledge. N in this stands for nurture. Nurture your body, nurture your mind. Take care of yourself. Okay. You need to learn every day. You need to listen. You need to engage. You need to be active through accountability. You need to read and you need to nurture yourself. These are the ways that if you do these things every single day, you will find yourself accelerating to higher results in your life. You'll be much happier. You'll be more fulfilled. You'll be so specialized that it gives you advantages in so many different ways in every area of your life. And last, I just want to share with you how proud I am of you and for how far you've already come. I always see the best and the potential in people before they see it themselves because I do think that this world deserves you. It deserves all of us, but it deserves you especially to bring your talents and your skills and to fulfill them in so many ways that it blesses the lives of others. And without you doing it, well, that's just plain selfish. So get on it, get over it, get to it. It's time to learn, it's time to specialize your knowledge. And then the last thing I'll mention too is that if you even read 10 books, okay, they can be 100 pages, they can be 500 pages, it doesn't matter. But if you read at least 10 books in one subject, you will then become much more equipped to be an expert in that space. And I've heard this advice over and over and over again, and I unfortunately don't have that many amount of resources available in the degree of what I do as a mastermind global leader. I don't have 10 books on masterminds, but there are 10 books on how to conduct relationships and how to facilitate meetings and how to work through negotiations and how to develop ideas and how to tap into the neuroscience of brain effectiveness and mindfulness and overcoming challenges and solving problems, which are all 10 books that I could use right now today to become an expert in the mastermind realm and in so many other ways too. As a speaker, I'm going to read 10 books to become the best speaker I can be. I can read 10 books on how to become a great MC or a great event planner or a great business owner or a person who's well knowledgeable, well knowledged, there's a good word, very well knowledgeable. I don't like the way I'm saying that. Has a lot of knowledge in finances or any other area of business, such as marketing, sales, or more. You can become great at what you want to do. So take inventory of who you are, what you're doing, what you already have, build upon what you already know. Don't stay stagnant, only progress. Don't digress, never settle for mediocrity, and don't forget to learn every day. My name's Jon Kovach Jr., the founder and chairman of Champion Circle, and I'm grateful that you're going to step into your shoes of greatness and find ways to become a more specialized, knowledgeable person and offer your talents to the world. Thank you.
Awesome, Jon. Thank you so much for your perspective. And again, thank you for all the speakers for what you've been able to share with us today. From being able to take actionable items to specified knowledge, for the very valuable stories that you shared, and hope that all of the champions who are listening can be able to apply to their lives. We want to thank all the audience members who were able to listen to us today. And if you are looking for more inspiration, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. It's at My Champion Circle. And you can also find at our website, there we go, www.mychampionscircle.com. You can find all of our social links there, as well as all the other links to our masterminds, our roundtables, our accountability groups, and everything in between there. If you want to send us a message and let us know how specialized knowledge has helped you in your life, or have any questions or comments, go ahead and email us at info@mychampionscircle.com. Until next time, champions, continue to be awesome, continue to inspire, and continue to specialize yourself in the industry that you're in and get that specific knowledge, because it's through that you will become the master and the expert you need to. The master has failed more than the novice has tried. So go out there and try. We'll see you all later.